Your brain is lying to you. Right now it's telling you a story about a stable, predictable world, a story where you are one single consistent person moving through a solid reality. But this story is a perceptual firewall that began installation at birth for one simple reason: to protect you from a truth so overwhelming it could shatter your sanity. What if I told you there's a filter on your mind, let's call it an anti-weird filter, that tames an alien reality just so you can get through the day? And what if, just for a moment, we could peek at what lies on the other side? Think about your morning, the alarm, the feeling of the floor under your feet, the taste of your coffee, the drive to work. It's all solid, reliable, real. Our lives are built on a bedrock of assumptions: that the sun will come up, gravity will keep us grounded, and the person in the mirror this morning is the same one who went to sleep last night. This feeling of stable, continuous reality is maybe the most important tool for our survival. It's what lets us build societies, form relationships, and plan for a future. We are able to function because we believe in a story our brain tells us. We trust the narrator. But here's the thing. That trust is built on an illusion, not a bad one, but a necessary one. Our consciousness has been carefully shaped to ignore the glitches, the background static of strangeness that hums under every moment. The world feels normal only because your brain is working overtime to make it seem that way. It smooths over the cracks, fills in the gaps, and hands you a neat, edited version of events. But underneath that polished surface, a profoundly alien reality is churning away, completely unseen. So, what is this protective mechanism? We've been calling it an anti-weird filter, and while that's a metaphor, it's a powerful way to think about how our minds work. It's a cognitive and perceptual firewall that gets installed slowly and methodically from the moment we're born. An infant's perception is a chaotic, overwhelming, and miraculous flood of sensory data. They don't have the mental boxes to sort out the world into normal and abnormal. The process of growing up, learning language, names, and rules, is really the process of building this filter. It's a cosmic safety feature designed to stop our adult minds from being hit with the raw, unfiltered absurdity of existence all at once. This filter is what allows you to see a tree and just think, tree, instead of being frozen in place by the absolute miracle of its existence. It's what allows you to have a conversation and not be stunned into silence by the bizarre magic of air vibrations turning into shared meaning. The filter domesticates reality, taming its wild alien side so that we can get on with our lives without constant existential shock. Every creature lives in its own version of the world. A bat doesn't see the way we do. It hears it. Its reality is sculpted from echoes and sonar reflections. A fly's world flickers in slow motion. Its compound eyes register hundreds of frames where we see one. A snake perceives heat instead of color, mapping its universe through temperature gradients. Each species experiences an entirely different cosmos, a unique translation of the same underlying mystery. So who's right? We assume humans are, that we see the true version of reality. But that assumption makes no sense when you sit with it. Why would nature make every other creature wrong just to make us right? The truth is, we are just another filter in the chain. another localized consciousness decoding the infinite through the narrow instruments of our biology. Our eyes, ears, and nervous systems aren't open windows to an external world. They're data streams feeding information to a brain. It feels as if you are a tiny self hiding behind your eyes, looking out through twin windows at an external landscape. But those eyes are not windows, they're light detectors. Your brain takes electrical signals from those detectors and creates a picture it believes exists out there. What you see is an internal hallucination so stable and shared that we call it reality. We're not seeing the world as it is. We're seeing the world as our species must see it in order to survive. And that's the real punchline of the anti-weird filter. Reality isn't hidden from us because it's cruel. It's filtered because it's too vast. Now, this isn't just a philosophical idea. It's grounded in how our brains are actually wired. Two key concepts from neuroscience help us understand how this filter might operate: the reticular activating system and predictive coding. First, there's the reticular activating system, or RAS. Think of it as a bouncer at the club of your consciousness. It's a bundle of nerves in your brainstem that acts as a gatekeeper, deciding what information gets in and what stays out. You're hit with millions of bits of information every second, but you can only consciously process a tiny piece of that. The RAS filters out the noise. It's why when you decide you want to buy a certain car, you suddenly start seeing it everywhere. You've told your RAS what's important, and it has tweaked your reality to highlight it. Without it, we'd be lost in a fog of sensory overload. But it also means your reality isn't objective. It's a personalized feed, curated by your own mind. Second, and maybe even more mind-bending, is the theory of predictive coding. Your brain doesn't just passively absorb reality through your senses. Instead, it actively predicts it based on all your past experiences. Your brain is always generating a model of the world, making its best guess about what it's going to see, hear, and feel next. Perception is less like a camera and more like a scientist testing a hypothesis. The data from your senses is mainly used to check the prediction. When the prediction is wrong, that error signal is the only new information that really gets your brain's attention. It's incredibly efficient. Your brain doesn't have to process every little detail all the time. It just has to notice the surprises. But the implication is staggering. What you experience as reality is mostly a simulation, a top-down projection from your own mind. You aren't seeing the world as it is. You're seeing the world as your brain expects it to be. So why? Why would our brains evolve these complex systems of filters and predictions? Is it truly to hide a terrifying reality from us? Or is it a purpose far more profound? This is where science brushes up against a more expansive, mind-blowing philosophy, the idea that our minds are gateways to a much larger consciousness. The writer and philosopher Aldous Huxley proposed a powerful theory. He suggested that the brain doesn't create consciousness, but instead acts as a reducing valve. Think of it like a cosmic radio tuner. All of reality, what he called mind at large, is broadcasting on all frequencies at once. But to live a functional human life, our brain has to tune out almost all of it, selecting just one tiny clear station, our everyday reality. From this perspective, the purpose of the filter isn't to protect us from meaningless voids. It's to focus our awareness so we can survive and navigate the physical world. It's a biological tool that allows a sliver of a much vaster, universal consciousness to experience itself as a unique individual, as you. Your ideas of purpose, beauty, and connection aren't just human inventions. They could be echoes of this greater reality trickling through the filter. So, the truth being hidden might not be one of cosmic horror, but of cosmic connection. Our anti-weird filter isn't a prison wall keeping a monster out. It's more like a focusing lens. It allows the infinite, dazzling light of the universe to be concentrated into a single precious point, your conscious experience. The unedited version isn't unbearable because it's terrifying, but because it's everything, everywhere, all at once. So, what happens when the filter glitches? What if we get a glimpse of that raw, unfiltered data stream? Many people have reported experiences like this through deep meditation, moments of profound awe in nature, or most famously, with psychedelic substances. Research into psychedelics like psilocybin and LSD suggests they work by disrupting the brain's normal predictive system. A prominent hypothesis is that they relax the brain's top-down predictions, allowing a greater flow of bottom-up sensory information. In essence, they seem to temporarily turn down the dial on that metaphorical anti-weird filter. The result isn't always a hallucination of things that aren't there. Instead, it's often described as a state of heightened clarity, of seeing what is actually there for the first time, stripped of all its familiar labels. The mundane becomes miraculous, the familiar becomes alien, the rigid sense of self, which is one of the brain's biggest predictions, can dissolve, leading to experiences of ego death or feeling of oneness with the universe. These states suggest that our normal everyday consciousness is just one channel. By limiting our perception, the filter also limits our reality. It creates the very self that feels separate from the world. To lift it, even for a moment, is to see that the line between you and the universe is just another part of the story your brain is telling itself. So here you are now, aware of the filter. You know that your perception of reality is a carefully constructed, heavily edited version of the truth, designed for your own protection. And this knowledge presents a choice. You can live inside the firewall. You can accept the comfortable, cozy reality your brain provides. You can keep trusting the story, knowing it's a useful fiction that allows for a stable, sane life. There's no shame in that. It's what our minds evolved to do. Or, you can start to peek behind the curtain. You can start to question your assumptions. You can practice being mindful, just to see the world without an instant label. You can seek out moments of awe that quiet the predictive mind. You can cultivate an awareness of the inherent strangeness hiding in plain sight. This path is about embracing a more expansive, more honest relationship with reality. It's about acknowledging that our human experience, with all its beautiful and painful moments, is playing out on an impossible, vast and mysterious stage. Reality isn't a fixed thing we discover, but something we actively create. By understanding the filter, you gain the power to consciously take part in the creation of your own reality. Your brain is both your guardian and your prison. The same systems that keep you sane also draw the borders of your world. The anti-weird filter isn't an enemy, it's a testament to the ingenuity of human consciousness. It built a small, warm, well-lit cottage in the middle of a dark, incomprehensibly vast forest. we may never be able to fully step outside of that firewall and see the true, unvarnished face of reality. Maybe our minds just aren't built for it, but knowing the firewall is there changes everything. It brings a little humility, a little wonder, and a profound sense of mystery into our lives. And it forces you to ask a powerful question. If your everyday reality is a story, who's been writing it? And what happens now that you've decided to pick up the pen?